Time for us to bring you a hotline documentary for today. Now, I crave your indulgence to imagine giving birth at a health facility and being told to go home just to take a bath. That's the harsh reality facing mothers in the Bongo district of the Upper East region. Women are bringing life into the world in clinics with no toilets, no running water, no dignity. In our latest documentary, Mothers in Peril, produced in partnership with WaterAid, we uncover the silent struggle of women giving birth in some of Ghana's most underserved communities. Take a look, and after, we have a conversation.
A 2022 WHO Joint Monitoring Program report showed that 80% of the Ghanaian population has access of western part of the Bongo district with a population of over 1,000 people. This small community-based health planning and services CHIPS Center is the only healthcare facility here. It has 3 small rooms for different consultation services and a sizable open space for a waiting area. Next to it is a small structure with rooms for the accommodation of 2 healthcare staff and an extra room used as a delivery room. Both pregnant women and nursing mothers come here for antenatal and postnatal services, but the facility has no access to water and no washrooms or toilets. Mary Ania has been coming to this facility for some years now. She received antenatal care and delivered her second child in this facility.
After I gave birth, because there's no water here, I have to send my sister to go home and carry and bring me water so that I can take my bath here. It's very far from here. So she went home and brought the water. So I took my bath and the midwife to take over. I went home and came back here with rashes all over my baby.
Like Mary, these 2 expectant mothers coming for antenatal care are facing similar difficulties due to the lack of access to water and sanitation facilities. They say they are not even able to collect their urine samples in a dignified manner for lab tests.
Before the hodeke tam de lebukuril in so ngalaka bole nyela awam batata baho kalan to lebukurire kaso nye balala ma nan lebukuri o obati yirma tuku wana to so balala me lawantere selawande le yume de before to so nyela balala ma waka kara ba aboro ho poro halame.
First time to wakala tinge we minga nandore zete te kador makumi masen ze kadore Esolamde untenga. Oi tu zelze do nerva biro. Ko be ona senka lilize adore. Mambete ya hanya ne isornga bonito la bangradeko la sonto.
The healthcare staff here at the Konkwa Chips Center have to rely on kind community members who volunteer to bring them water for their hand washing setups. Gifty Amo, a senior nurse here at the facility, explains that it is difficult to avoid spreading infections while working under these circumstances.
When I have a case and I want to wash my hands, I'll come here and pour the liquid soup to now wash my hands. And I'll now open the tap, wash it into this basin. So when it's now done like that, I have to carry this basin to outside to go and pour the water away. But in case the tap is not flowing, I have to use my soiled hand to hold this cap and open the basin to fetch water, which is very bad because if I use my soiled hand to touch this cap, that means I've contaminated the whole water, which is very bad because it causes infection because I've transferred bacteria into the water. So at the end, the whole water is not safe.
The story at the Chips Center in the neighboring Gori community is not too different. The healthcare facility was provided with a hand pump borehole. So, although there is a source of water supply, the water does not run through taps in the facility. Women seeking maternal healthcare services, therefore, must come to the borehole with buckets to fetch water before being able to use the washrooms. This structure outside is the urinal used by all clients at the facility. Inside the facility itself, there is a small maternity ward with a washroom attached. However, since there is no running water, the mothers or their relations accompanying them must go out to the borehole, which also serves part of the Gori community, to get water and bring it back to the ward for use. This exposes the mothers and their babies to the risk of infections. These two young women have once delivered babies here at the Gori Chips compound and are expecting once more.
Nera tambera mukurani wa awapaka tibale mande ke yeti titoti senke de ko na leti so ta han yeti di tinin di da tin tarakra ma pa so ko na tala dan man yondo akala 3 years ntole man kan ye ko woso so man kan ye ko woso la man fu kan ye ko wo pe de yok biyela ta mo so biyela maka so ta mo ra de alla bila yomba ti biyela yombera ma so yondo ba mayu kan yi ko waso to mayu gamba la hale to yu yan kan yi him sanyan kudi ya ta so inso ngala puana mi inso ngala mi kele foli kitim akin zam la to anata bone inside ni sinka door ba de flash.
Next, we visit the Biontankon community, also in the Bongo district. The healthcare facility here is also a community-based health planning and services Chips Center. It receives hundreds of clients daily, many of them mothers seeking maternity services. But this healthcare facility has no access to water and has no washrooms, toilets, or even a urinal. When the women here need to use any of these facilities, they must go to the nearby homes and hope to be permitted to use their facilities. Otherwise, they have to improvise by using a cloth to cover themselves and hide behind a tree or a rock.
When I was pregnant, it was very difficult. Water was the main problem. When we come and they give us the malaria drug, where to get water, it was difficult. Some of us, when we are coming, we don't have money to come and buy pure water. And we don't also know some people here, whether they clean their containers before fetching water or the hygiene they are doing in the house, we don't know. We'll go and just collect the water like that and come and take the drug. To wash our hands too, it was a problem. When we want to urinate, another problem.
For you to get urine for the test that you are pregnant, it's always difficult. So because of that, you normally hide until the pregnancy will show up before you come. Because if you come, where to even enter and do urine for the test is the problem. And we don't have toilet. If you come here and you are feeling like to free yourself, unless you go home.
Because of this situation, deliveries are not conducted here at the Biotankun Chips compound. The mothers come here for antenatal services until they are due for delivery. They then go to another facility in a nearby community to deliver their babies. The journey is often difficult and becomes treacherous during the rainy seasons because a large river separates the two communities. Irene Akolugo, a pregnant mother, has already gone through this ordeal.
When I was to deliver first, it was not easy. I struggled. After crossing the stream, we have to cross a river again before we now get to the clinic. That place too, there was a lot of water. We normally go with our mothers. So they helped me to cross. The time I get there, I was weak. The time they were even saying push cry for the child. So when the child came out, they saw fast. The child couldn't cry. They said it has kept long. So the time for the baby to come out, it delayed. I was thinking that I even lost my baby. But God being so good, the child was alive.
The situation has not changed since Irene had her last baby, and now 5 months pregnant again. She will be due for delivery in August, the peak of the rainy season in this part of the country. She is likely to face the same ordeal she faced during her last delivery 2 years ago.
It's 2 years now, and I'm 5 months pregnant again. So as I'm here, as my previous time, even how to walk and go to the first where we get the water is far. The time you get back here, you are always tired. And to deliver, we have to go to Walka, which is far. Even if you are approaching to deliver, if you are up to 28 weeks, they have to send you to Walka so that you'll be going there to see the midwife, which is far. You cross the river, and walking like that is not easy.
The Namu Healthcare Center provides healthcare services to thousands of people in the border town of Namu, here in the Bongo district of the Upper East region. In addition to regular outpatient services, maternity and child welfare are the predominant services provided in this healthcare facility. On average, 40 women come here daily to receive maternity services, and a minimum of 35 newborns are delivered here every month. However, wash facilities here are not commensurate with the high number of clients. Although there is a borehole here providing water, only the maternity room of the facility has washrooms and a toilet. The physician assistant here at the Namo Health Center, Halima Sadia Adamu, explains.
And at the maternity unit, we can receive about 30 or 40 mothers a day. Some will have to also produce urine for testing for the ANC clients. The postnatal clients, some of them also have to use the washroom. And at that unit, we have only 2 urinals and then the toilet. And so with these 2, with the population, I think there's an impact of the 2 toilet and then bath facilities. We don't have a place to wash hands, and you need to wash your hand before you pick your baby, or after delivery you have to wash your hand before you can breastfeed your child.
Regular clients, both male and female, are therefore forced to share this washroom, which was a storeroom before it was converted into a place of convenience. The women say there is no dignity using this washroom.
This is my 4th pregnancy, and all of them, it is here that I've delivered in this facility. I would say it is not good at all. My previous birth before this one, there were about 3-4 people who delivered on the same day. To use the bathroom, it was a challenge, because it was one, and sometimes the water doesn't flow frequently. You have challenge with the water shortage, and here the case is even one, which you cannot even use. Aside that, the washroom is only one in the antenatals and one outside. And looking at the population in this facility is large. When it is one, you are going there to use it. Another person may also want to use, not the same gender. It causes inconveniences there.
Daratala white bottom because I mark what do yes to me came cadonia white when your bands zo. Yeralazi alan kabola. Oma power at a betty ye cado retumbo is in Sakatba way until Latano part with it to do and do to came to Cadura, okay, a conca bomb to young flash it lazoyes. So Banetta do me laughing laying.
The physician assistant says some of the women sometimes pick up infections as a result of the situation with the wash facilities.
Because we have only 2, some of them will have to go outside to produce the urine. And when after producing the urine, if they don't wash their hands, definitely they go home and touch other places, they will go home with the infection. Once there's no wash facility for the clients, and even the staff, it's not enough for the staff. Definitely, if they come to the hospital and they don't wash their hands properly, they can easily go home with infection.
In sharp contrast, however, women at the Atampintin community are often full of smiles when they are seeking maternity services at the CHIPS Center there. This wash facility, provided by WaterAid Ghana for the CHIPS Center, comprises a mechanized borehole that provides running water, decent toilets for males and females, and hand washing facilities. The borehole also provides running water to the healthcare facility. About 4 years ago, the situation here was similar to that of the Gori CHIPS Center. A community hand pump borehole was the nearest source of water, and the healthcare staff and clients often had to compete with the community members in long queues to get water for use at the CHIPS Center. Elizabeth Akalari had her first baby here at the Atampintin CHIPS Center. At the time, this wash facility had not yet been provided.
My power and clinic in 2022. Manta and became a poor. More and color face. How to odore. The day ye because unkabu settle be pumping buzi. How to ing bangera settle came be who ye tia be bokan lenzi ka ing bangera.
Elizabeth is pregnant again, but this time she is always excited to come to the healthcare facility because she does not have to worry about decent water, sanitation, and hygiene facilities.
Oh, so no bona because Lord de pupil le manya nye kuna because first na my midwife for melisi in the ku mama na akade mel bala so Lord de pupil mom first na hando ba setu gura hankuli yuto kaso beleleze hando ba wanyang sokal de yankuli wanyang peho lo la to de kido kala de yankuli so Lord de pupil zozo.
Like Elizabeth, other mothers who come to the Atampintin CHIPS Center appreciate the dignity they enjoy when they want to collect their urine samples for lab tests or just attend to nature's call.
You manu garha mayon tarapura you nanka tare kunzia kala you ndele pumping the tirida by so minute borehole the community les na wa te ngiliga yeles na wa yo la agra la bila to la bahti mara do ko hin ko mbile mbile tin na pegi mengala makaya nda pe mengala want zila basa ko da kume da tamma mengala lan lorla de le de ki mbuyi point maklan doka buyi point la nde masin na hangarwa na rade minna na yira ko la point.
For the healthcare workers here, their job is made easier with the supply of running water, and so they provide quality maternal and other services to their clients. Judicia Atenebore is in charge of the Atampintin Chips compound.
It was time consuming when this ANC clients, when any of them is in labor and comes, we have to still go and fetch the water and render services if it is during delivery. If there is nobody, a relative who accompanies the client to the facility, is the midwife that will fetch the water, come back, and then before she will render services. You see that it's time consuming. So with the implementation of this wash fits program by WaterAid, it has brought a lot of improvements. In addition, sulfadoxine pyrimethamine, it is a malaria drug that is given to the pregnant women at 16 weeks. That one, they don't take it in the house. They have to take it before the midwife. So with the water available, it makes them comfortable to fetch and to drink. And then with the hand washing, we just open the tap at any point in time that it's necessary for us to wash our hands. And during delivery, the midwife also feels comfortable whether there is somebody to fetch water for her or not.
According to the Bongo District Director of Health Services, Estella Abazese, many of the healthcare facilities in the district were built without the provision of proper water, sanitation and hygiene wash facilities because they were not intended to admit patients or for complex procedures such as delivering pregnant mothers.
Basically, it was because they were constructed not to offer detention services. So we have CHIPS facilities like Kunkwa, Bintanku, and a host of others that do not have wash facilities in them yet. We are forced to render delivery services in these communities. So it is so difficult.
She said this has created a situation where mothers and newborns are often discharged only to return a few days later with infections like sepsis.
So we've had situations, we deliver children, neonates, send them home, and within the next 2 days they are back at the hospital with sepsis. And we can't rule out the possibility that our infection control practices at the facilities without water is challenging and surely will have an effect in the spread of infections.
The Bongo District Director of Health Services acknowledges the work done by WaterAid Ghana in providing water, sanitation and hygiene facilities for the Atampintin Chips compound and other healthcare facilities within the district. She says WaterAid Ghana has made a big difference.
WaterAid has been one of our great partners when it comes to wash services in Bongo District, and we've been working with them for the for over 10 years in Bongo, and the impact has been great. It has been life-changing for many of our facilities. If you look at the health center level, for all our health centers now, we have mechanized boreholes with water flowing at service delivery points. We have incinerators for waste management for all the health centers that we have in Bongo. And we do have toilet facilities for our staff and clients. And then when you now look at the CHIPS level, those CHIPS that also offer maternal and child health services, especially delivery services, WaterAid has moved on to these facilities now, also providing wash facilities for them. And so the impact has been great.
So, why all these interventions in the Bongo district by WaterAid Ghana? Ibrahim Musa is the head of strategy, policy and campaigns at WaterAid Ghana.
The WHO UNICEF Joint Monitoring Program statistics indicate that as of 2021, the whole Ghana, only 67% of healthcare facilities have adequate water. Only 67%. And I can tell you in confidence that of these 67% of healthcare facilities that have water, a chunk of them are in urban, which means that there is serious inequity for rural. If you were to break these statistics down into urban rural, then you will see the situation of rural, including Bongo. We shouldn't forget that Bongo is one of rural districts in northern Ghana. And the fact that even government policy-wise, northern Ghana is considered a deprived geographical area, and Bongo is also one of the highly deprived districts in Ghana. Your guess is as good as mine. Within these 67% that we are talking nationally of healthcare facility with wash, you can imagine Bongo statistics. If you come to sanitation, just barely half in the whole country of healthcare facilities have adequate toilets. And even when we talk about adequate toilet, we are talking about toilet facilities for male and female, because for WaterAid, we are very concerned about gender responsive wash. You know, different for male, different for the unique needs of women. When it comes to hygiene facilities, just more than 50% of healthcare facilities in Ghana have adequate hand washing facility, which is very important because every step of the way in any healthcare facility, hand washing must be there, which means in rural areas like Bongo, the situation can be dire.
The efforts by organizations like WaterAid Ghana will only amount to a scratch on the surface if the government does nothing to complement their work. The call for the provision of decent water, sanitation and hygiene facilities in healthcare facilities in the Bongo district, which translates into more dignity for mothers and their newborns, has never been more urgent than now.
We appeal to the authorities to help us with facilities like the washrooms, the toilets, the bath and water. As well, if we even build the toilets and the washroom and there's no water, it's still going to give us problems.
We can't be suffering like that, so we are pleading that if we get water here, it will help us a lot.
So the suffering I went through because of water and the facility, I would like to plead that if they can help us get all those things for us, we will be happy.
WaterAid Ghana has this call to action.
Number one, the need for Government of Ghana, Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service to prioritize wash and healthcare facility. When adequate wash is provided in healthcare facility, doctors find it easy, nurses and midwives find it easy to deliver quality of care to women, children, and all that. Number two, when wash is prioritized in healthcare facility, infection prevention and control become easy, to manage. And significantly also, we want to call on the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health to adequately resource Ghana Health Service and Ministry of Health through government budgetary allocations. The important thing is to release the money. Once the monies are released, we also want Ghana Health Service to take steps to ensure that rural areas like Bongo District, Kunkwa and other chiefs that you visited that do not have wash, they should prioritize and give them wash facility. And finally, we also want to call on development partners, funders, philanthropists, rich people who have money to come to the aid of these communities that run healthcare delivery without adequate wash. Because women dignity needs to be promoted, women dignity needs to be upheld in the course of delivery.
For now, mothers at Kunkwa, Gori, Biontankun, and Namon will have to continue visiting their healthcare facilities where they cannot attend to nature's call without sacrificing their dignity, where they struggle to get water and end up exposing themselves and their newborns to infections.
All right, let's do more on that particular story you watched there by bringing in the head of strategy and policy as well as campaign for WaterAid Ghana, Ibrahim Musa, who's joining us in studio. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, sir.
And thanks for joining.
Thank you, sir.
So what lessons have you picked from this campaign you've done in that particular community in the area?
Thank you, and good morning to you, and good morning to Madam and to Joy for this great partnership with WaterAid Ghana. For us, to summarize, this piece of documentary just shed light on a crisis that is hidden in plain sight.
Okay.
Yes. And when I say crisis hidden in plain sight, you can visibly see the joy of some of the women who go to healthcare facility where there is adequate wash and their happiness, to go through delivery safely. But on the flip side, you see the lamentations, and the struggle of many of the women who also go to healthcare facility that does not have adequate wash, water, sanitation, and hygiene, and the desperate call they are making to policymakers and philanthropists to come to their aid. But generally, it also underscores the inequity in resource allocation to critical areas like health.
Okay.
I think the beauty of this documentary is that we get to see the plight of these women captured in a few minutes, but this is their reality on the ground. And we're talking about prioritizing water and sanitation, hygiene over here, and you're making these up, this call appeal to Parliament, to the presidency, and all that. The question I'm asking is, how long has this been going on, and why are we only shining light on it now?
Very great question, and thank you for that. So, this has been going on for long, but of course, we're just picking Bongo. But trust me, there are many other rural communities, be it southern Ghana or northern Ghana, that share similar characteristics as Bongo. But for WaterAid, for now, our focus is on Bongo. And you can see the Madam Estella, the district health director of Bongo, indicating that with partnership with WaterAid Ghana, the last 10 years, there are incremental changes, but there are still huge problems to confront. So that tells you the magnitude of the problem that we are grappling with. Again, in the documentary, you can see that she has mentioned a number of healthcare facilities, basically the CHIPS, Community Health Planning and Health Systems. For instance, she cited the case of Kunkwa, she cited the case of Namon, Tinkombio, that do not have wash in them. And the struggles that midwives, nurses, and sometimes doctors go through to support women to deliver. which means that the problem has persisted for long, yet organizations like our organization, WaterAid, is in there, I mean, with others, you know, supporting to ensure that this hidden crisis, we shed light on it, you know, for those who have to help us deal with it, deal with it.
What's the challenge here? I mean, I don't expect every nook and cranny of this country to have access to potable water. It's idealistic. We hope that that is the reality, but it's not. But we know that sometimes in the absence of potable water, we have boreholes, we have some other, you know, facilities that can help with the water situation. I cannot for the life of me imagine being pregnant and going to the hospital and being told to go home to go and bathe just because there's no water there. So what is the actual challenge? Is it that the water is not even in the ground so that when you dig boreholes, they don't come up? Is that it? What's the challenge?
Fantastic question. And this question is very important because we are dealing with a district, Bongo, which has difficult hydrogeological situation when it comes to water.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so the district, in fact, in the whole Ghana, is top when it comes to the issue of fluoride with underground water.
Okay.
So that is the peculiarity of Bongo. But, and what that means is that when you drill a borehole today, you can even side water, but the water is not safe. And when fluoride levels go beyond a certain, you know, count, WHO and Ghana standard will bar you from using the water. So even with WaterAid, we have had the occasion of drilling boreholes. I mean, at the point of commissioning, the borehole is safe, but in 3 months, you have to come and cap the borehole because it's not fit. Okay. But there are, of course, other options. For instance, surface water is also there. There are parts also where, in Bongo, where when you get the groundwater to be safe, you can mechanize and pipe to long distances.
Yeah.
But that comes with heavy costs.
True.
But, and I say this, your question is very important because this is a district that is sitting on the Vier Dam. Bongo sits on the Vier Dam. The Vier Dam, Ghana Water takes its source of water supply from the Vier Dam and supply to Bolga and its environs. Yet, the people of Bongo, where the resource sits, do not have their share of Ghana water supply. Mind you, this has been happening the last 30 years. So you can see what we call water justice issues here. So one will ask, why will Ghana Water be drawing water from Vier Dam, which is on Bongo soil, yet the community or district that is grappling with fluoride, that same water cannot be piped and serve the whole district. That's why I say your question is very important.
But have you had any sort of engagements with Ghana Water? What is their explanation as to why Bongo, the community that they're drawing the water from, is unable to access water?
Yeah, that is an important issue. We've had the dialogue. In fact, for the past 2 years, we've been having the dialogue. This current government, we've had some dialogue. We've met with the Chief Executive of Community Water and Sanitation Agency, which is in charge of rural and small town. We've had a discussion with the Honorable Mutawakil, who is the MD of Ghana Water, and the two heads are now putting resources and thinking strategies together to see how this problem can be remedied. And I tell you, this issue has to be remedied to be able to safeguard the people of Bongo district.
What gives you that assurance that indeed this will be solved? Because as you were talking, you mentioned of the inequality in resource distribution.
Absolutely.
And this has been there over the years. But you seem to be optimistic that this will be solved soon. What is giving you that assurance that the community people don't see?
Thank you. I like your question. Myself, like you and my sister, when we wake up every morning, we are always hopeful that things will change. I'm sure if not for hope, we will not be sitting here. And again, within the context of policy, we are told by current government that there is a reset going on. The reset has come to town. And so within the context of the resetting agenda, we are hoping that things will change. And like I mentioned, myself and Country Director Urabana, we have had the opportunity of meeting with Vincent, who is the Chief Executive of Community Water. We have also met with Honorable Mutawakil Adam, Ghana Water Company MD, and they have all given indication that, look, this is something that has, to be solved and solved once and for all. But your question where the relevance comes in is that problems don't just get solved by word of mouth. It has to be driven by resource allocation, which means that government must significantly allocate the needed financial resources in the budget to Community Water and Sanitation Agency and also Ghana Water Company, because this is a heavy capital intensive project to be able to pipe water from the Via Dam to supply, the people of Bongo. Mind you, the advantage there is that there's already a government agency, Community Water and Sanitation Agency, that is operating in Upper East Region. And that has some footprints in the area of Bongo district. So in terms of comparative advantage and leveraging on existing resources, this should not be something that government cannot solve. We believe government can solve it.
But do you see that commitment in the budget that was read?
For this year budget, I can tell you on authority that when we did the budget analysis of 2025, Community Water and Sanitation Agency did not have the needed budget. But we are also told that His Excellency President Mahama has got this ambitious, big push, policy agenda where he's trying to mobilize $10 billion investment over the next few years to tackle very difficult, if you like, infrastructure challenges. Yes. And we believe that this is one important infrastructure challenge that if His Excellency President Mahama will not do anything at all, getting Ghana Water and Community Water to pipe Via Dam to Bongo will be a big legacy His Excellency President Mahama will leave for the people of Bongo.
You mentioned that the Bongo area has high levels of fluoride.
Yeah.
So in the project that you're doing, how are you dealing with the fluoride content in the water to make it safe?
The engineers and scientists will tell you that, fluoride, at some point, there are tolerable levels for fluoride for every human being, even because we even take Pepsodent and all that, which has tolerable level, but beyond a certain level is dangerous for human consumption. Also, in terms of technology, the only current available treatment for fluoride is to do reverse osmosis. And reverse osmosis is very capital intensive. If it is iron, you can easily do iron removal plants to be able to treat the water. But with fluoride, you definitely need, reverse osmosis, which comes with huge capital, outlay.
And rightly so. Reverse osmosis is something Ghana Water should be doing because of the effects of galamsey on our water bodies, but they're unable to do that. So, how can we help? While we wait for the government to maybe allocate some resources to community water and sanitation resources and the rest, how can individuals who have the means, how can they help you?
So, thank you for this beautiful question. So, in WaterAid Ghana current strategy, 2023-2028, we have this ambitious, strategy to get universal access to water, sanitation, and hygiene in Bongo for communities, for schools, for healthcare facilities. So within the strategy, what we are doing is that in the areas that the water table is good, and we get, quality water, we are able then to mechanize to other parts of Bongo. So within this context of investment mobilization, if we have donors who are interested in partnering with us in this journey, through the platform of multimedia, Joy, they can reach our country director. We are ready, to do that partnership. In fact, the last few months, we have done similar commissioning of some pipe system in Bongo where they are beginning to pipe the people's homes. So we just need some investment beyond government. But I can just tell you that our government must put our resources where our mouth is. We have to just invest because the life of every Ghanaian matters. And water, sanitation, and hygiene is the starting point of life.
Okay. Well, I guess that philanthropists and people who are well-to-do and love to give back to community will be watching, and then they would also get to reach.
And then to just also add that the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health, I mean, these are issues that they should be paying attention to. Let me use this opportunity. The Minister for Health, since he took office, has been monitoring many health facilities and unraveling these similar issues of the need for wash to be in healthcare facility. I mean, these are things that beyond his monitoring and ensuring that management staff of these healthcare facilities do the right thing. We also call on the Minister for Health to ensure that adequate budgetary allocation and releases are made to Ghana Health Service and Ministry of Health to deal with these challenges.
Okay. Ibrahim Musa there, he's head of strategy, policy and campaign with WaterAid Ghana, and he's appealing to all and sundry, government, private sector, to help them bring water to Bongo to alleviate or ameliorate the plight of pregnant women who go to healthcare facilities just so they can be told to go home to take a bath. Coming up next, we have a conversation on climate finance, the green transition and sovereign debt in Africa. It's a symposium by Afronomics Law and UPSC Law School. All that after the break. Thank you.